What's up, people? My name is Jeffrey Kaminsky, and I am a wrestler at Ohio Wesleyan University, where I've started the past 2 years at 197 pounds. I'm also somewhat of a meathead, and so, over the years, I've cultivated quite the exquisite home gym, which I'm going to show you, and that starts right here with my 10x10 Dollarman wrestling mat. And honestly, I don't really use this that much anymore, but back during the great scamdemic, this thing was worth its weight in gold. Whether his competition's getting canceled or you get quarantined because you didn't take the Heartstopper, you can just invite some bros over and get after it on here. You can shadow wrestle on it, whatever. But like I said, I really don't use it as much anymore. It just kind of sits right by my recording studio. And now we're going to walk on over to the fun part, the thing that I know you're all here to actually see. Just ignore those speculative investments right there. So, now the part that I know you all are waiting for. The actual gym. It's not anything nice. It is a basement. It is a basement home gym. It's not anything spiffy like Planet Fitness. This is the place where you go to change yourself into a better version of you. You know, you watch guys like Eric Bugenhagen and Pete Rubish in their old basement days. They were just grinding and yelling, getting after it in what looks like an old Soviet dungeon basement. This is what that is meant to be. Motivational quotes to add character. And here we move on to the lifting platform that I made a couple years ago when I was working at Lowe's. Just made some wooden boards, put them together, added these overly expensive horse stall mats, stained this nice wood to be nice and dark. You can drop all of your weights on this, deadlifts, Olympic lifts, and you're going to save that concrete floor from being exploded. Now, the heart and soul of any home gym is the rack. And here we have just a nice little half rack from Rogue. It's got everything you need, nothing you don't. The safeties, the J-cups, the pull-up bar. Honestly, I haven't really pushed this to its limits. I haven't really failed any heavy lifts in it, but I have no doubts that it was going to sustain anything I can throw at it. I also have a nice little TRX setup here that I really don't use as much with. I'll either do like layouts or just do tricep extensions to failure on it. Get a really good freaking pump from it. Now on the side we have our weight pegs, where of course we start off with our 5-pound plates, 2.5s, collars, moving down to the 10s, and this is where it all started. With these cheap plates, these gold gym plates that you get from Walmart in that crappy little bar, getting this in like 8th grade, this is where so many of us started. Without stuff like this, we wouldn't be where we are today. But as you go, you evolve, and you get nicer, better equipment. Here we have our 25-pound plates, 35s, and a nice little mix match of 45-pound plates down here. A bunch of random iron plates and one nice set of Rogue Fleck bumper plates. These are really good. On the side we have a bunch of random lifting accessories from these little PVC pipes, which are great for doing mobility drills for your shoulder, warming up, whatever. These little foam pads that I used to do shadow wrestling on back in the day, but nowadays I mostly just use them whenever I'm doing something on my knees, because my knees are freaking old and I need these in order to not be in pain. We've got a little boxing bag, a little, what's it called? Massage gun. This one exploded on me, so I cannot recommend this brand, sadly. All kinds of random stuff in here in the box. We got our jump ropes. I'm not super good at that. Can only do it backwards and go 3 reps, and that's about it. Got our little deadlift wedges, which are super useful for getting weights on and off. Especially with these weights that are all different sizes, hard to get them on the bar sometimes. All kinds of stuff over here. We got our ab wheel, bands, random straps, and this guy. Probably one of the best bang for your buck equipment you can get. Just a bike lock. Probably an eighth of the price of a dip belt. You can do weighted dips, pull-ups, like I said, at an extremely low cost. Here we have my lifting shoes. On the left, we have my first pair of Addy Powers that I've put through hell, and you can see they're not exactly in the best shape anymore. Well, I upgraded to these guys. Just as old, just as good, still in nice shape. They're not really necessary at all, but if you like lifting, and you want to take your... Actually, it doesn't make you that much better, but it makes your lifts feel so much freaking better. All kinds of bands right here that I need, whether it's stretching, mobility, whatever. Lifting bag, and here we have possibly the most important piece of equipment in this whole gym, my chalk brush. You might be asking, what the hell is that friggin' chalk brush? All kind of dirt and shit in here. Whenever you're using chalk on your hand, you're using it to get rid of that sweat. The chalk is absorbing that moisture, and sometimes it's going to get on the bar, all that moisture goes on that steel and it rusts, destroying your investment. And why this thing's so freaking useful, to wipe that chalk off of there. It's also why it's important to keep WD-40 here. Not only for making sure your equipment stays clean, the other day I actually had one of the plates get stuck on the bar, and this thing is the only reason why that was able to come off. Now I got my nice little boxing bag over here. Honestly, don't use it as much anymore. We can either do just regular boxing with it, you can carry it like a sandbag, whatever you need. And this guy, the trusty Dyson. Make sure this place stays reasonably clean. Now we go over here. No, we're not going over there yet. Here we have my frame certificate showing that I am indeed a personal trainer from NASM. Got that last summer. It's nice. Now we're going over here to this little pole. I'll use this guy to stretch out. I'll put bands on it, do face pulls, whatever you need. I'll also keep my ropes on there. Not only just for doing cardio with the battle ropes, but also put those on there and do rope pull-ups. Especially if you're a wrestler or any kind of grappler, that kind of grip strength is going to really carry over to your sport. And now something that, if you see this in a gym, you know it has character. A chalk bowl. And no, I'm not paying $250 for one of those little rogue chalk bowl stands. I just took a bowl, threw chalk in there, put some freaking paint cans there, and we're good to go. It's just as good. Here we have some pieces of metal that exploded off one of my plates when I was going too heavy, I guess. Whatever. Nice little stand right here. We need to open the window or do some maintenance on the ceiling. Right next to all these other pieces of free weights. Great equipment right here. We got our little dumbbells that you can change the weights on. Honestly, these are pretty light, so I really can only use them for high reps on like curls or something like that. I don't really get that much out of the dumbbells. But they're adjustable so you can find ways to make the weight what you need. Now this little 15-pound dumbbell right here. Can't even really do like anything with it anymore. We've got our nice little 20, 25-pound dumbbells right here. These are my dad's old dumbbells from God knows when. You probably never touched them, but you can adjust the weight on here. These are old and they're still freaking work. We got another piece of homemade equipment right here. A little 2-inch steel dumbbell handles. It's a nice thick grip, so you can get some extra grip strength in, and you can adjust the weight. You can put some 45-pound plates in there if you really want to and just get after it. Then we have some kettlebells, 35 and 50. I use this whenever I'm deadlifting to warm up, get my hips exploding. This guy, maybe I'll do single arm, bottoms up kettlebell overhead press, which if you have not done is one of the greatest shoulder stability exercises you can possibly do. Now we have some exercise balls over here. And these guys are actually slam balls, so they squish. One of my favorite things to do on them is to do single leg balances. Because it's not like this hard one where you'll just slip off and kill yourself. You can actually get some good training in with this. Now we go over to my bench. It's a nice little combo rack from, like I said, God knows when. I actually got this from one of the guys who runs Inside the Circle. Which if you're involved in Central Ohio Wrestling, you know what I'm talking about. So this guy, obviously don't go very heavy on it because none of my family members will be able to save me if I die on a spot, if I'm benching really freaking heavy. So I'll just go like for reps on these. But you can adjust it, incline, whatever you need. And since it's a combo rack, you can flip these guys around, you can do squats on it, although I wouldn't really trust these safeties to save you. It's just barely tall enough I used to be able to do front squats on it. I'd even do rack pulls on these little safeties right here. But now I move into the barbells. Here was the first bar I ever owned. It's just a little shitty 3-piece barbell that you get from like Walmart. It has a 225-pound weight limit on it, so you can't really get super strong. But like I said, without this thing, I would not be where I am today. Back in middle school, got this thing doing curls and floor bench. Of course, that's all I did, but this is what sparked the love for lifting weights. Here we have my dad's old frickin' 1-inch standard plate bar. He probably never used it either, but back when I had limited equipment, I could still throw a bunch of weight on this and find ways to get after it. Now we have what I refer to as my power bar. This is just some no-name frickin' bar, but these work just as good and work until you need to upgrade. So these guys, they work pretty well, but like I said, this is my power bar that I use for squats and deadlifts and whatever, or Olympic lifts. Here's what I use whenever I'm really deadlifting, what I like to call my deadlift bar. That's because it's thinner diameter than the power bar, and if you notice, there's more room between here and here, between the plates. So when I go to lift this thing up, there's gonna be more whip, and it's just gonna help me deadlift a lot better. But you can see it's starting to rust a little bit because it's bare steel. That's why that chalk brush is so freaking important. Same with that WD-40. Now when we go over here, we can see some more pieces of equipment. These old little 1-inch standard plates that pretty much have no use anymore, except for those old bars and the machines over here. This guy, pretty much the only thing that I use, it's a little leg extension thing you put on here. I'll do leg extensions, hamstring curls. You can load a bunch of freaking weight and just do as many reps as you want. There's also a little preacher curl bar, but I really don't use that. I don't care about curls as much as I want to get my legs freaking jacked. Bunch of random pieces of equipment down there that we're not even going to talk about. But this right here, this is another essential piece of equipment, the speaker. You need this in order to play some good solid tunes to get you in the mood to lift some heavy iron. Obviously, you need to be able to perform with or without the music, but the days where you really need to pick me up, this thing is going to save you. Nice little Bluetooth speaker. Every gym needs a good pair of speakers. These are not as loud as I want them to be. Ideally, I like it where I can feel the music when it's going. I can feel the bass. Like my car speakers, oh my goodness, I feel that like vibrating throughout my entire head. This thing is not quite that loud, but it's better than nothing. So that is pretty much it. This is probably more than most of you need to get started. Honestly, all you need is a barbell and plates. But once you get the iron itch, you can't just stop there, and that's when you end up with something like this. Honestly, probably a lot of this money would be better spent on paying off tuition or buying more ammo, but the heart wants what the heart wants, and what the heart wants is to get freaking jacked.